Voila, bonjour, bonsoir, je m'appelle Sidwe, and welcome back to the AFCON 2023 preview show with me, Sidwe. Today we are looking forward to the finals of the 2023 edition of the African Cup of Nations here in Cote d'Ivoire. So we have the two finalists expectedly when we got to the semi-finals. Super Eagles of Nigeria went through at the expense of the Bafana of South Africa, and as well as the host nation, Cote d'Ivoire, having won only one match in the group stages, are able to make it to the finals. They are facing a team that they are very familiar with. They played the Super Eagles of Nigeria in the group game. Of course, they were in the same group stage. They were in the same group in the group stages, and they got beaten 1-0 by the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And so it's going to be a repeat of what we saw in the second week of this particular competition. The two teams that were in the same group, that's Group A, they have made it to the semi-finals or to the finals, beg your pardon, of this particular competition. We are looking forward to that big fixture on Sunday, the 11th of February 2024, which is going to be the finale of this amazing, wonderful tournament. Joining me once more on this show is a Premium Times reporter, Tunde Eloduni. I'm very sure he's very happy about the outcome of this particular competition, how it has a climax with Nigeria are getting to the finals. Who would have thought that the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the much criticized Super Eagles of Nigeria, are in the finals of this particular competition? Tunde, welcome. Maybe for the last time, we are doing a preview show for the AFCON 2023 edition. Welcome, welcome. How excited are you to be at this stage of the competition?
Oh, well, let me say bonsoir to our viewers out there. And of course, talking about excitement, I am very, very, very excited about how far the tournament has gone. Of course, like you said in your intro, and not many people saw this coming, particularly for the Super Eagles. We knew their form coming into this particular tournament, especially after they lost their last friendly game before the kickoff. Everybody was like, just go there and do what you have to do and leave.
And come back.
And matters even got worse when everybody thought that Equatorial Guinea was an easy team, and if they couldn't beat Equatorial Guinea, then they have no business in the AFCON. But it turned out to be that this team, game after game, have been showing that they are a championship team. And of course, for me, this is a perfect final. A final that CAF would really, really crave for because we know Nigeria, we have the numbers, and everybody knows that the kind of football we play. And of course, having the host nation making it to the final also, so you can expect that the Alassane Ouattara Stadium on Sunday will be filled to the brim. I've had many people calling me for tickets. People are ready to pay through their nose to get the tickets for tomorrow's game, for Sunday's game, and it appears that the tickets are not even there for people to see. So it's really building up nicely, and I know this is going to be a very great final for every one of us to serve up.
Okay, so now we know immediately after the group stage, the Super Eagles of Nigeria looked like a team that will make it to the finals, and of course they've made it to the finals. But that wasn't the story for the host nation, which were praying, they were fasting, they were counting, they are counting their log, praying to God to be on their side when Morocco did them that particular favor, beating their opponent to give them the opportunity to qualify as one of the best losers. But they've gone on, to make it to the finals, beating defending champion Senegal, beating formidable oppositions on their way to this particular finals. And lastly, they played against the DRC, which they were able to beat 1-0. Do you think, having being on the verge of, getting knocked out of this particular competition in the group stage, they lost their coach, which they sacked the coach after the group games, and they've stuck with the assistant manager who has taken them to this stage of this particular competition. Now, let's talk about Cote d'Ivoire, because I think they are the most fascinating team in this particular tournament. The tournament started, a lot of people tipped them to do well, but they didn't in the group stages. In the knockout game, they have been a different monster. How impressed have you been with this wounded team that were given a second chance and they decided to grab it with full hands?
Yeah, I think right now, coming into this tournament, I wasn't this scared about Cote d'Ivoire. I just look at it. Any team that plays attacking football, I think we can always match them. Any team that plays football with flair, we can always match them. Anything that has name, Super Eagles get to be serious and know that okay, this is pound for pound, and they play well. But there's one thing that I don't want to use the word scares me going into this final is that anybody that rises from the dead fears death. It doesn't fear to die anymore. Cote d'Ivoire were like dead and buried as far as this tournament is concerned. But they to have come back from the dead, I don't think they fear anything anymore. They've seen the worst, and so that kind of team, I've, I think they've seen it all, and that would help their psyche. That if we can do this, why won't we be able to do the remaining 90 minutes and just finish this thing off? We're on the verge of going out, and luck just brought us here. Now it is in our hands. 90 minutes. Let us wrap this thing. And I really see a revitalized team. So bad again, they played Nigeria in this same tournament and they were beaten 1-0. I listened to the coach during his presser on Saturday, and he said one thing that worked against them when they played us was that they were looking at our first match. It wasn't the same formation. They prepared for the formation we came up with in the first game, but Pesero had different ideas and they were caught napping, and the rest, like they say, is history. Now they know us very well. They know what we can do. They've watched our players. They've watched and they've seen our strengths. They've seen our weaknesses in this tournament. Unless Pesero has some things under his sleeves that he's yet to play. He has some jokers he's yet to play. But this Ivorian team have studied Nigerian well enough, and so they are ready to come all out. And with the crowd cheering, I'm sure the president will be at that stadium tomorrow. 60,000 or whatever capacity will be filled to the brim tomorrow. All that energy pumped into the Ivorian team. I think the Super Eagles have a game in their hands, but you can't rule them out also. All these players, they played in big stadiums, they played against the crowd, and so yes, it might have a bearing, but it shouldn't be enough to make them jittery at the long run.
So what do you think we should be expecting from the game?
I expect an action-packed game. Like I said, I want to believe the manager that has some hidden joker or something might be the one that would take the day. But based on the strength of what has happened right from the second game, what has happened after the group stages, you look at it that these two teams have character. That is it. Cote d'Ivoire, they concede, but they don't give up until they equalize and win games. The Super Eagles, they score, they hold on to their lead and close shop. No matter when they score, they are ready to defend that one goal. And so if you are coming against a team that is used to conceding, and even at the death, they would always get back into the game. Then it shows that, like Chris Daniel would say, don't sleep. None of the teams should sleep, because even if you score, don't believe that you can close shop. And even if they concede, it's not yet over until the final whistle. So it's going to be a very action-packed game. That I'm sure of, because with the crowd roaring, I'm sure the energy levels of these players will rise the more, and it's a final I've been dreaming of. This is my first AFCON tournament, and I'm glad.
This is your first?
Yeah, I'm going to.
You've gone all the way. Great. So let's now we've talked about the relevance of Cote d'Ivoire. Now let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Everyone expected them maybe to dominate against South Africa, but then we saw a team. The game played out differently, and South Africa dominated. We saw Jose Peseiro, his formation looked as if he was found out in that particular game. The Bafana were all over the Super Eagles, and they could have won the game. Would say luck was on Nigeria's side, which they've made it to this particular final. Now, what do you think? Jose Peseiro is going to do something different in the finals, or is going to stick to what has worked for him so far throughout this tournament?
For me, sticking to what has worked thus far might not guarantee the trophy. You must have an element of surprise. I remember Nigeria South Africa 2000. Tijani Babangida is known to operate from the right flank, but he came from the left, scored 2 goals, and that was it. You need, when a team has done so well on a particular tactic, oppositions will have studied and restudied. Look at when the coach of Cote was speaking today. He said they are now at the same level because they've watched this team and they say, okay, yes, they have this strength, but they also have these weaknesses. And if you look at it, for teams that have been able to demystify Peseiro's tactics, you will see that the Super Eagles are not immune to mistakes. There are loopholes that if you can
Carefully study
you can exploit. But thanks to the goalkeeper and of course the experienced backline, and so then again for South Africa, for example, they had chances. If they were a bit more clinical, maybe Nigeria would have been playing today and not South Africa. So I think he has to come up with something that no one expects. This guy, the captain, was at the press conference and he said he may play tomorrow. These are the kind of surprises that would throw the opposition off balance. Except it comes with that, it might be difficult. It's not that we can't win, but it might be more difficult than we expect.
Would you like to give Jose Peseiro some ideas?
Well, for me, if I'm being paid $10,000, I can do all the research, I can do all the thinking. But right now, I think he's the man in charge.
Yeah.
But he should be able to dig deep and come up with something that would throw the opponent off the balance. That's what worked for him in the first game. So he has to come up with something because nowadays coaches are scientific. They can analyze, they can check. So if you stick with that same, they will have gotten all the antidotes to everything you're training. So, but you can't prepare for what you don't know about. So it's just that element of surprise that I think we can work with the Super Eagles on Sunday.
So let's talk about the players. Seydou Sanusi was missing in the semi-finals because of he was ill. But from the training pictures and what we saw at the training ground, he's back training well with the team, with the group. Do you think would you say Nigeria really missed Seydou in the semi-finals, and how big of a difference will it be if he gets to play against Cote on Sunday?
Yeah, so there's a saying that you don't miss your water until the well runs dry. You don't know what you have until it's gone. Many people are always on the case of Seydou Sanusi, believing that he's one of the weakest link in the team. But from the game against South Africa, you would see the difference that this guy is actually not playing, and that he has credit to Bright Osai. Though he started on a shaky note, but I think he grew into
the game,
and he also commanded some level of confidence. And so I think either of the two players. I see Sanusi starting actually, but even if there's a problem or there's an injury, I think both of them can interchange. I just hope that if he can improve on his final balls, then I think it's going to be fantastic. He has the ability to initiate runs, to go on a counter, but those final balls has always been the case. His crosses and 1 out of 7 we'll get to the desired destination. So if he can really fine tune that, wow, it's going to, because you see him in Porto, you see what he does in Porto. I don't know, maybe the atmosphere or something is different about Portugal and Africa. But I think if he can get that part of his game sorted for tomorrow, then Cote d'Ivoire is in trouble.
So, which of the loopholes do you think Nigeria can exploit with the Ivorians? We've seen them; they've come back from the dead, and they look very good. They do not give up, even when they were reduced to 10 men against the champions, and they will go down. They surprisingly came back into the game and won it without taking it to the penalty. So, what do you think they have weaknesses that the strikers of Nigeria can exploit?
Yeah. So for me, I think one thing that those oppositions never did was to kill the game. Senegal had the chance to kill that game.
Yeah.
After scoring, you don't score the Elephants one goal and go to sleep. And so, for the fact that you know that the Ivorians have the tendency to concede goals, I think that should give you a room for confidence that these guys we can always penetrate these guys and get a goal. But what I would advise the Super Eagles is you don't stay at one goal, because at one goal, yeah, it's still not is far from sorted. And so
that's if you get the one goal.
yeah. So I think it shows, if you look, I can't remember them keeping any clean sheets all through this tournament. So
they did in the semifinals.
Oh yeah. So it shows that defense is really something that you can penetrate. So it's just for our attack line to be up and doing. And like I said, they shouldn't wait on one goal. If you have a goal, have another one, and let silence the crowd at Ebimpe, and it's going to be done and dusted.
So before we wrap this up, would you like to give a prediction?
Yeah. So talking about prediction, I was checking and I saw that the last AFCON host to win was in 2006. That's a long time. That was Egypt.
Yeah.
2006. And so I think there's something about AFCON that it's anybody's game. It's that you're hosting doesn't give you
guarantee that
doesn't give you any guarantee to win. So I of course, the Nigerian in me would definitely want the Super Eagles to win, and I think it's something they can do.
Yeah.
Yes. But I don't see a game so easy. It's not going to be an easy game. That one is sure. I see both teams also scoring. I see both teams scoring on Sunday, and that I know two teams would likely score. The final score, I think, is going to be settled in extra time. Between good penalties, it will be sorted in extra time, and it's going to be 2-1 in favor of Nigeria.
Okay, so those that understand what to do with the predictions, you can go ahead and do exactly what you have to do. Better on the final note, how would you rate the hosting of this particular competition from CAF, the Kokandas, the local organizing committee, the Ivorian people, the reception, and how they've conducted themselves generally? How would you rate the 2023 AFCON?
Well, one way I want to say, since this is your first AFCON, you don't know how other AFCONs are, but I won't subscribe to that.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of this AFCON, at least I've seen the facilities put in place by the host. These facilities are top notch. I just hope that it's not an African thing about maintenance.
Yeah.
With what Cote d'Ivoire has presently, I think FIFA can consider them for maybe an under-17 World Cup, under-20 World Cup, anytime soon. Yeah, that is on that. On the pitch, if you look at what has played out amongst the teams, it has been an exciting tournament. Ghana knocked out, Egypt knocked out, Morocco. It has been a tournament that, like I said again, don't sleep. All the teams that slept, they've gone. So it's exciting. Once a tournament is this unpredictable, it gives room for excitement, and you know that it's not the regular faces you see every time. Like you can imagine a quarterfinal pairing and there's no North African team at all. I can't remember the last time that happened. So it's a tournament that has had its own fair share of surprises. Yes, it can never be perfect. There will always be one or two things that can be improved on. Um, I think by and large, this is a 95, 96% um, um, um,
Rating.
rating for and you talked about the people also. I think the people that I've met so far in this part of Africa, they've been so welcoming. Even with the language barrier,
Yeah.
they've been so accommodating, and it's a place you would always want to come back to. And now we came to work, and so you might not really have the time to feel the city very well. It's a place you would want to come back and also say, okay, let me come for relaxation and all that. And so the facilities are growing. Talking about the infrastructure, the roads, water, everything appears. I don't know if it was made because of this AFCON, but what I've seen so far is a good testimony for the country and for the people of Ivory Coast.
Well, for me, this is not my first AFCON, so I would say this is a wonderful and one of the best African Cup of Nations that I've been to. This is my second AFCON. So I think from what we saw in Cameroon and what is happening here, this is absolutely, I would agree with Tunde, 95% rating as well for me. So thumbs up to the Ivorian government and to CAF and the local organizing committee and to the Ivorian people. They've been really, really amazing. To you out there who's supporting us, you've been supporting what we've been able to, bring to you live here from Cote d'Ivoire, the videos, the articles, on the Athletic Nigeria, and as well as on the Premium Times and every other platform, the pictures, the social media engagement. We thank you very much, and we really, really appreciate your contribution, your engagement, your support, and everything that you've done to help this platform grow. We'll continue to keep bringing you quality content that relates to African football, Nigerian football, and also globally. So thank you very much for the support. Thank you for the love. You can find Tunde on Twitter. They call it X, according to Elon Musk. At Tunde Eloduni. That's his handle. And you can find me at Sidewe Akban 23. That's my handle. And the Athletic Nigeria, you can find it at the Athletic NG on all social media platforms. So thank you very much for being a part of this. Thank you very much for being a part of this amazing, amazing AFCON journey. I'm very proud that we've been able to, go all the way from the very first day. And by the way, we arrived here on the 11th of January. So on Sunday is going to be one complete full month, 31 days on the calendar since we made the journey down to Abidjan for this particular competition. Thank you very much. We love you. Continue to, be with us and continue to put us in your prayers. Share this video, like, subscribe, and do all the things that you can do to help us grow. God bless you.